Hello, welcome to another episode of Myth, Legends, Fairy Tales, and Makeup, the series where I tell you the original stories that led to some very popular films while I do my makeup. If you are new here, hello! My name is Chantal, but you can call me Chanty. And if you like origin stories or makeup, or both, then you should definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Today we will be discussing the original story of Little Red Riding Hood, as written by Charles Perrault. This fairy tale has many film adaptations, but the most recent is the horror film Red Riding Hood, starring Amanda Seyfried. If you are curious about the products that I'm using on my face, I will have them linked in the description down below, along with links to Bailey Sarian and Robert Welsh, whose Get Ready With Me series inspired me to create this one. There was once a girl who was so beautiful that everyone loved her. I feel like that's how all these stories start out. Anyways, everyone loved her, especially her grandmother, and her grandmother ended up making her a beautiful Red Riding Hood, which made everyone call the girl Little Red Riding Hood. I'm gonna call her Red. Little Red Riding Hood is a mouthful and a super long nickname, which makes no sense because the girl's name in the actual story is Biddy. So, Biddy, Little Red Riding Hood, Red. I'm gonna call her Red. So, one day, Red's grandmother was extremely ill, so her mother made up a care package with like custards and tarts, which also makes no sense to me because that'll just make you more sick. So the mom makes up this care package and asks Red to go through the forest to deliver it. So Red sets off on this journey and immediately ends up running into a wolf. Now this was like the local wolf. And at this time, he's on his best behavior because he knows that there's some hunters nearby that would totally shoot him if he tried anything shady. So he's like, "Hey, sweet thing, where you going?" Red is young and naive, so she tells him all about her sick grandma and how she's taking these custard and pies to her. And the wolf sees an opportunity here, so he's like, "Listen, this sounds like a super boring trip, so let's make it a little more interesting. How about you tell me where your grandmother lives, and we'll race to her house and see who gets there first." I don't know if he offered any sort of prize, but Little Red Riding Hood was down. Now, she sets off down a longer path, not knowing the mistake that she's made. Meanwhile, the wolf races down the shorter path and makes it to the grandmother's house before Red is even halfway there. He knocks on the door and he pretends to be Red. He says, "Hello, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood, with custards for you, Grandma." Side note, what do you guys call your grandma? Because I call my grandma Grandmama, and every time I see grandma, I want to say Grandmama, but I'm the only one who gets that. Or anyone else who calls their grandma Grandmama. What do you guys call your grandma? Let me know. I might accidentally say Grandmama at some point, so just sorry in advance for that. Anyways, the wolf knocks on the door pretending to be Little Red Riding Hood, and the grandma's like super sick, right? So she's laying in bed and she's like, "I can't get up." So she just calls out and says like, "Hey, just unlatch the door and come right in. It's unlocked." And before she knows it, the wolf is swallowing her whole like a snake. He hadn't eaten in like 3 days or something, so he was pretty hangry. So then the wolf hides in the grandmother's bed with his literal food baby and waits for Red. Now, while this whole thing has been shaken down, Red has been like taking her time, picking flowers, chasing butterflies. Remember, she's on the longest trail already. She has no clue. So when she gets to the house and knocks, she is none the wiser. Even though Grandma's voice sounds like an 80-year-old smoker, she's like, "Oh, Grandma's sick, that's all." Although I kind of get that because when I'm sick, I do sound pretty hoarse too. Anyways, Red's grandma's are like, "Come in, dearie." That's what I imagine she sounded like. So Red enters the cottage and her grandmother's like, "Get on over here, get closer to me. I can't see you from all the way over there. Come into bed with me." So this part's a little weird, but Red undresses and then gets into the bed. I don't really get it because to my memory, I never climbed into bed with a relative naked, but I don't know. It's what Charles wrote. So So she undresses and gets into the bed. I imagine it was really dark in the room or something. But when she does get into bed, she starts noticing some weird things. Wheels are turning. She's starting to do some investigative thinking. She starts asking questions. She asks her grandma why she's so jacked, why she's so hairy, her eyes are so big, and what is up with those sharp teeth, huh, Grandma? And after making a few excuses, the wolf is kind of over it. So he unhinges his jaw again, I imagine, because he's already done that for the grandma, and swallows her whole. And that is where our story ends. Some versions do end with the hunters coming in to rescue Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother, and even go so far as to describe the scene of like splitting open the wolf's stomach to be able to get at them and save the two women. But either way, I think there's a few takeaways from this story. Don't trust a wolf. Custards and tarts are not the best remedy for sickness unless you're hungover. Don't send your naive child into a forest. But if you do, warn her about shady wolves. And don't climb into bed naked with your relatives. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the story of Little Red Riding Hood and what you might have done in her situation. And if you like this video, if you like my vibe, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take it easy.